Hi and welcome back. So over the first half of December, I was wanting to know what was causing my blood glucose levels to be increasing, particularly my fasting blood glucose levels. It was becoming a bit of a concern, and I had a sneaking suspicion as to what the cause of it was, but I thought what I'd do is I'd document it by putting all my diet into Chronometer and also my fasting blood glucose levels, and see if there was a relationship between what I was eating in the evening and what was happening in my fasting blood glucose levels in the morning. So basically, if we look here on this particular graph, we can sort of see here, and I was actually mapping previously, but the data that I have for my fasting blood glucose level isn't matched to any food intake. So this here is actually matched to food intake. So you have to take my word for it here, is that this was also bouncing around dramatically like it is here in these last few items. So these are this is basically a raw to four style diet going on here. So this is in the evenings. I'm having a cooked meal. So there are starch based meals, and they also would contain higher levels of protein, higher levels of fats and oils, lipids in there. So it was jumping around like that, and after a few days, I went to the doctor to have my blood test done and my blood chemistry done, and there's a video on that, and that all came back really good. So my overall my diabetes was very under control, but nonetheless the elevation was causing me a bit of angst. And I do want to know what's going on, and I really don't like to see it bouncing around as much as it was. So this was again cooked food here, and then after that I went fully raw, and you can see there's a big difference. So anything under 6 point, any of these here, 6.8, this is pretty much raw. Okay, and here above, this is cooked. So this is raw. These ones here are all raw, and this is all cooked. And as you can see, there's a big difference between raw and cooked. So if we were to go back to this date here, the 9th of December, okay, and just go back to 9th of December, here we are, 9th of December, and this is so my fasting blood glucose level for the night before. So this is my fasting blood glucose level on this day, but on the 8th in the evening, this is a reflection of what I ate on the 8th. Okay, so 7.2. So on the 9th, and that my dinner is, or everything is raw. So I'm 77 kilos, 77.5 kilos. My body fat is 20.33. Fasting blood glucose is 7.2. Okay, so it's all raw for the day, and then in the evening I'm having a cooked meal, which is basically potato, pumpkin, onion mash with some vegan style hot dogs. And that's basically my day. So the next day, okay, my blood glucose is 6.8. It's not too bad, but nonetheless it's elevated in my mind. Okay, my weight is 76.95. My body fat is 20.23. So it's I've come down slightly in the body fat, but at the end of the day is that I'm most probably losing muscle mass because I'm not actually doing an exercise during this time. I 8 hours sleep. Okay, so I don't have my my evening meal here because it's sometimes very difficult because I don't necessarily cook all the meals, and so therefore I don't know what's in them or what amounts are in them, so I can't enter it in. But basically there would have been about 500 to 600 calories of a cooked meal that evening. Okay, and there's video on these days in my collection of videos that are associated with this one. So the next day, on the 11th, and that my fasting blood has jumped up to 7.6. My body weight is 77.1. My fat's increased. Oh, has my fat's increased? Yeah, my fat's increased. And my fasting is 7.6. I've got 8 hours sleep. This is when I went to the doctor for the blood tests. And again, this was the evening meal, which was a pasta, spaghetti, whole wheat style cooked. This is basically the equivalent of what I can find in Chronometer. We make our own own cherry tomato pasta sauce and some kale, and also had some cherries that day. So and again the next day, my blood glucose is not too bad. It's jumped down, but the thing is that if you look at the here, like it's jumping up and down. So like these are these are quite swings and roundabouts. And it's the same swings and roundabouts here, but when I map out the entire thing, so when I went to the doctor and that, after I came back from that, I started mapping all the intervals. So therefore I was mapping before breakfast, 2 hours after breakfast, before lunch, 2 hours after lunch, before dinner, 2 hours after dinner, before bed, and that just repeats all the way through. So therefore I'm getting more and more data going through. So again, this is my raw, so this is my cooked foods going on here, and this is all raw foods. Okay, so here you can see this spike here, 11.8. okay, this is 2 hours after dinner. Okay, 11.8. So I went from 6.1 to 11.8. Okay, this is a big jump. 2 hours after, that should be nowhere near that 2 hours after dinner. Okay, and then just before bed it's 10.2, and by the morning and then I'm back down to 6.6. okay, but this is these sorts of spikes are just dangerous. So anyhow, after eating these cooked foods and that, what I did is I started eating raw. So breakfast, lunch and dinner is all raw, it's all fruit, and as you can see it just evens out dramatically. I'm not getting any radical spiking going on here at all when you sort of see it all mapped out throughout the day. And there are some missing bits and pieces because it was out and about and I couldn't take my blood. I think this might have been I had to go shopping at the markets, get my weekly food and things like that, so it makes it difficult sometimes to do all the increment or all the intervals, but I tried as best as I could. So this here, this here 7.8, this little rise here, I ate something like 3,500 calories that day, 3.5 calories of fruit. Okay, here I would have been 2,200 calories, including the cooked meal during the day, and this is what I'm getting. Okay, here this is 3,500 calories of fruit, about 2,000 calories of cooked food. As you can see, the difference is massive. Okay, this is fructose, this is starches, basically fructose, starches. Okay, it's crazy stuff. So therefore, if you think that eating fruit is going to be detrimental to your blood glucose and it's going to make it spike, it's just not. Okay, normal sugars will make your blood spike, fructose won't. Okay, starches will make your blood glucose spike, fructose won't. Okay, and so you can sort of see the fructose isn't really it's relatively even, it's relatively under control, and it even gets down. If I were to continue this on and stay on fruit all the time, it would just start trending down and down. Okay, we're kicking back into other things here, but 5.7, 5.2, these are low numbers, and I would most probably get down there, and this would most probably stabilize around about the 5-6 mark. Okay, so the fructose is a good way to go. If you're worried about it, you should give it a whirl. Try it for a couple of weeks and see how you go. It takes a few days for the fats to come out of your blood supply, but once the fats are depleted from your blood, then you'll start seeing some changes in your blood glucose levels. Okay, but you have to give it a few days before you start seeing any results. So give it a try for about 2 weeks. Okay. Now the other thing about this is that's important. So that over that period of time, this is my weight over that period of time. So this is here is we're talking cooked foods. It goes back a bit further, but like cooked foods tend to be above the moving average line. So the blue line here is the moving average line. Everything that's below the blue line is fruit. Okay, so this is all fructose meals through that time, and then the cooked meals kick back in, and you can sort of see it starts pushing back upwards, and then it starts trending upwards solidly. So it takes there's a bit of a latency in how it all works. The same if I was to go from the cooked meals and start going back to the fruit, there'd be a bit of a latency of a couple of days and that before it starts trending down again. So if the numbers are below the moving average, it's pulling my moving average down and my weight is slowly coming off, whereas if the numbers go above the moving average line, then it's pulling my weight up. So as I thought originally, the cooked foods were having an impact on my blood glucose levels, and the fructose, having the fruit meals all day long actually has a beneficial impact on my blood glucose levels and also my weight. So if you haven't tried it, please give it a whirl. If you're a diabetic, try it for a couple of weeks. You've got nothing to lose, plenty to gain. But try and keep away from the cooked meals in the evening. Try to do a raw all day, and see how you go. It's clear that fructose doesn't have a dramatic impact on your blood glucose levels. It's a lot better for you. Anyhow, that's it for me. Hopefully you enjoy this series of videos, and if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye.